Tycoon, what do you think about Grandma Tala coming back as a stingray? Like, this was like heavy foreshadowing. She pretty much pointed to her back and said, "This is me, Moana, keep an eye out for it." And yet we were all fooled. Like, I had no idea that giant, cool-looking, white, bioluminescent stingray was gonna be, like, the albino stingray was gonna be Grandma Tala, even though it was white.
I thought it looked great. Like, I thought it was a badass tattoo. Like, the other people's tattoos didn't really stand out to me, but Grandma Tala, like, she got one. She just got one really big one. You know, Moana's mom had a little decoration on her hands, but Moana's grandma, she was the crazy village lady, so she had to go big or go home.
Now, who's betting that Moana's gonna get a boat tattoo sometime during the next 5 years? Because, like, you know, when the initiation comes up, like, I feel like it's, you know, it's gonna happen.
And where do you think she's gonna get it? I think her ankle would be a tasteful place.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, then you can see it as she's on a boat with a boat on
herself.
Plus,
maybe she could tattoo it over her foot. Like, remember that place where she got hurt by the rocks when she got trapped?
Excellent! Moana 2, we've got some recommendations, Musker and Clements, for you guys. Okay, so, like, what did you think of Moana's dad and mom? Like, I mean, like, it was great how her dad had a New Zealand accent, because a lot of the Maori are from there. But, you know, it was distracting, because almost everybody else was American, other than Tamatoa, who just pulled it off like there was no tomorrow.
Like, I really like Moana's dad. He was great. Like, I mean, I like how they did it differently this time, where, you know, Moana's dad, like, he was gonna pull a King Triton and, like, you know, destroy Moana's, like, goodies, like, all the boats. He was gonna kill them.
I should have banned them years ago. You know, he was yelling, I should have banned them. And then, you know, what happens? Like, he doesn't get to, because, you know, Grandma Tala, like, and I want to just say that, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but during the How Far I'll Go song, when Moana is running towards the water, it's cool, because, like, you see, as soon as she gets onto the boat and she looks back, you see some smoke, and then you suddenly see the white stingray, and you know then, because the minute the white stingray appears, you know Grandma Tala died on the island. Because she was reborn, so it was pretty epic. Like, I like that. Really sad. I only noticed that during the second coming, like, because we didn't know, you know, we didn't know.
The second viewing.
Yeah, thank you. The second coming of Moana. Moana's not Jesus, but anyway. So, yeah, like, let's talk about some of the songs. Like, I mean, you know, there were some great songs in Moana.
Man, yeah, definitely. Like with the past Disney movies, like, I haven't really felt like for the new gen ones, you know, post-revival or whatever, I haven't, like, none of the songs really stuck in my head the way they did with Moana's songs. And I definitely felt some, you know, some Tarzan vibes. Like, there were definitely parts. And obviously, when I looked it up, there he was, Mark Mancina. Like, heads up, hats
well
off.
done, Mark. Because it, you know, it wasn't like him and Phil Collins were getting together for the umpteenth time. It was like a unique, not like with the Brother Bear soundtrack, where it felt like, you know, Phil was it was like a rehash. All the songs that didn't make it to the original Tarzan, they kind of shoved it in Brother Bear.
And it definitely felt too soon for Phil and, you know, the other guy to be collaborating
Exactly.
again.
Mark Mancina, as you mentioned, so well done. And, you know, then Manuel.
I think Manuel was a great addition, because, you know, he brought some, like, cool rap to it, and, like, you know, he kind of brought a nice flavor.
But I think that the true highlight for me was the Polynesian music, which is, you know, I've always loved it. Like, anyone who watches Farscape, like, if you grew up with that, you grew up with that Maori chanting in your head, like, it was awesome, you know, like the We Know the Way song stuck in my head for days.
Okay,
like,
so Megabucks, why don't you tell us your favorite song? We'll start with each of our favorite songs and then our least favorite.
Okay. So, I mean, it's a tough call, because the first time I saw the How Far I'll Go song, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing, this is epic. Like, but, you know, when I listened to it at home, I realized that the visuals have a lot to do with the epicness of the song. And, you know, like, I mean, but the We Know the Way song is absolutely epic, because you're feeling the voyaging spirit as they sail high and low, and they're passing the torches, and their elders are, like, being the batons.
Yeah, like I love the We Know the Way song, and even more, like, I love the We Know the Way reprise. Because you know, it all came together, and, like, they were, like, it was so sad, because it's like they were dead, and, like, they were talking about how the stories, they tell a never-ending story. And then, like, Moana joined them, kind of, like, thankfully she didn't die yet, but, like, she was also sailing, so she kind of joined the story. But, like, my least favorite song originally, like, on my first viewing...
Oh my god, yes.
Which totally turned around by the second viewing was Shiny by Tamatoa.
Hated Shiny. I remember the first time I felt a little bit sick in the theater. Not since the Animatrix have I felt this feeling of throwing up. Because it just felt... It felt dark, and, you know, like, you felt dizzy. Like, I mean, that was good. It was good for Maui to feel dizzy, but I myself was not enjoying myself. I don't know what he was saying.
Like, for me, I even enjoyed the song with Tamatoa. It just kind of felt out of place, because, like, like Tamatoa, he just kind of like, he showed up out of nowhere and then like he had this song and then he vanished. So I was like, well, you know, the song also kind of stood out from the others. Like the theme, like the music sounded totally different from all the other songs. So it kind of stuck out like a sore thumb.
Exactly.
But then I watched it the second time and like, you know, like between the time that I watched the first movie and the second movie, like Shiny was like stuck in my head the whole time. And just Tamatoa's delivery was just like off the chain.
And see, what they often say is that when you see something new for the first time, you don't know how to react. Like they say that when something is completely different and done differently, the first time you see it, you're just like, what the F is that? Like the way people were when they saw The Matrix in the 1990s. Well, this is how it felt when we watched Shiny, where we didn't know what to say, we just didn't like it. But then when you actually look at it, it grows on you, and you're like, holy crap, it's like mold.
And I just liked it so much because like we got to find out what Tamatoa's personality was like, because he wasn't given a lot of screen time.
He really could have. I mean, he's a great villain, great potential. Like could have had even more of a role, honestly. But the good thing was that they did foreshadow, like, you know, in the very beginning sequence where they're giving the history of the land or whatever. There's a mural like picture thingy with Tamatoa there, and then they mention him again. Like they show him on Maui's like tattoos. So I mean, it's great. Like he was definitely mentioned. It's just that, you know, because of the newer Disney movies, what they do is they don't seem to have one central villain anymore. As we mentioned in the Showdowns video, they have, you know, they have Teka, they have Maui, a semi-villain, at, you know, an obstacle for Moana at one point.
Yeah, there's no one big bad guy. There's like lots of little bad guys who actually, you know, it turns out, well, they're not so bad. They're just misunderstood. Well, Tamatoa, he's not misunderstood.
In fact, if anything, Tamatoa is making clear that like Tamatoa he's a force. He's not a character in and of itself, because if you think about his very small appearance, limited to one song essentially, he basically makes Maui look like a turd stuck to his claw. Okay, he is so like epic. He basically uses Maui's personal history against him. Okay,
and even Moana's like, I love
physically.
I love how Tamatoa, like, you know, Tamatoa was telling Moana, you know what, like your granny lied. Like, and for Moana it was like finding out Santa wasn't real.
I mean, keep in mind her grandma just died like a day ago, but Tamatoa is willing to go where he's willing to pull the belt. Like Tamatoa is the Krav Maga of Disney characters. He will punch you in the eyes, and that's wherever he needs to get ahead.
Exactly. Don't touch his stuff. Like if Aladdin, you know, came from the Aladdin movie and you know, tried to ransack his place.
Yeah. Like the Cave of Wonders may have dealt with that, may have been okay with it, but Tamatoa would not take that lying down. He would never.
Exactly. Just imagine the Cave of Wonders, if the Cave of Wonders was on Tamatoa's back.
And you know, Tamatoa, the thing is, Tamatoa is like, you know, he's very smart, because it's not just that he started talking. He was like, are you trying to psych me out? Because he's like, I know what you're trying to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. He does this with full knowledge of the consequences.
Exactly. Like, I love when Tamatoa's like strut my stuff. Like, you know, he's confident. Like, he's not gonna let these losers,
and
like...
Yeah, this is why when people say beauty is only skin deep, like, Tamatoa is trying to kind of, you know, he's an orthodox thinker. He's different. You know, he's not like, you know, I need to know who I'm on the inside. He's like, no, well, you know, you gotta let's start with the basics.
Exactly. Look, Tamatoa knows that, like, you know, people do judge a book by its cover, so he's gonna make his cover as shiny and gold as possible.
Exactly. Now, would you go to an interview, you know, dressed in sweatpants? No, you would not. You would make up a good effort. So Tamatoa similarly looks shiny all the time, so he makes a good impression on whether it's future villains or future enemies like Moana. Like, you know, they didn't show up unannounced and he hadn't brushed his teeth or whatever. He looked great, so he felt confident to deal with them.
Okay, so what did you think about Maui? Like, we haven't talked too much about Maui.
We haven't, yeah, because of Tamatoa mostly. Yeah, Maui, I mean, you know, the thing with Maui is that it was quite controversial, like, the way, like, Maui's weight, apparently, among everybody. Like, you know, like, the New York Times complained about it. You know, people like the Polynesians were like, why the hell is Maui so freaking obese? Why is he fat? Even though he's not obese, because if you look, like, he doesn't actually have fat.
Yeah, he's muscular, but he still looks like a hippo. But yeah, honestly, I really think, like, I was really disappointed that they didn't make Maui look like The Rock. Because, like, The Rock he's ripped. Like, he looks like a demigod.
Exactly. And, you know, the thing is that they keep talking about how they made Maui quite big so that he looks bigger, larger than life, bigger than Moana. And they could have made him 7 feet tall or something. But I suppose then there would be a problem maintaining eye contact, you know, between Maui and Moana. Where, you know, like, because they're basically both together in this journey. Now, if he's up there, she's like, hey, like, it's like Moana and Te Fiti, where, you know, they didn't talk much because, like, it would have been awkward.
It's true. So, and like, the Disney people even mentioned that they even said that, like, they wanted to like kind of make it like a metaphor. Like they wanted Maui, like they said he was this larger than life character, so they wanted to make him large. They wanted to make him extra large. They wanted to upsize him, you know, like a Big Mac.
Now, I love what Maui does with his hair. He's got all these hair flips that he's doing all the time. Like, Maui's hair is a lot springier than Moana's. It's very bouncy, it's shiny. And what's it called? Maui even mentions where he's like, I've only thought about 3 things all these years. Like, keeping my hair shiny, being a hero, you know?
Yeah, so look, he and Tamatoa have that in common. Like,
exactly.
they both want their hair, they both like shiny things.
Like, I think Maui is the ultimate, like when he looks at Tamatoa, Tamatoa is what Maui could have been, you know, if Maui...
Yeah, like Moana even mentioned, she's like, you guys have a lot in common. And she kind of treats him the same way that she does Maui, where she kind of strokes his ego to get him going.
Now, see, Maui is selfish in that Maui wants people to love him, so he tries to help people. Now, Tamatoa only tries to help himself, you know, but like ultimately they're both helping themselves though.
But I just wanted to mention one thing about Maui's hair, because you were talking about Maui's hair, like when I see Maui, like, and I know you agree with me on this, I immediately, like, you know, I saw the island setting and I thought, hey, like, you know, who else could have played Maui in the live action version?
I agree. And because
Jorge Garcia.
Hurley has such charisma, like, you know, we were all won over. And the same goes with Maui. Like, you know, maybe people, you know, if somebody's sitting on the island, they're like, oh, Maui's just a fat ass. And then you get to know him and you're like, holy crap, he is amazing. He's so charismatic. And you feel the same way. So, I mean, honestly, when the live action Moana comes, like, I mean, they're saying they won't do it now with Beauty and the Beast. I mean, here we are all these years later. We know this is going to happen. You'd better get Jorge Garcia to do this, Disney.
Oh, man,
no one else will do. And Lost is a Disney production. So, like, I mean, keep it in the family.
So true.
So, moving on, like, you know, one thing that really annoyed us was that, you know, Nicole Scherzinger was apparently the mom in this. It was Moana's mom. And, I mean, it's not that she did a bad job or anything. It's just that when the first time I watched it, I didn't actually know it was Nicole Scherzinger. And I was like, well, I just don't remember the mom much. Her voice was neither here nor there.
Like, we here at the AniMoguls, like, we don't like it when, you know, people, like, when they get big celebrities to be the voice. Like, you have to hire people based on talent. And, you know, with Nicole Scherzinger, she was kind of forgettable. Like,
yeah, like, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. It's just that we miss those days when, you know, basically, like, maybe they're not, like, you know, they're not, like, A-listers or whatever. But, you know, we all love Jodie Benson, we all love Paige O'Hare, like, people who've got really unique, interesting voices. And, you know, like, pick people for the voice, not because they're already famous. Like, we're lucky that The Rock did a great job. Like, you know,
The Rock, like, he did an awesome job because, like, I didn't like how they made Maui look physically. So I was like, well, you know, if the voice isn't good either, then we're screwed. But, you know, he had a great voice. He had a smooth, like, you're welcome, you know.
Very nice. And great intonations. Great, like, you know, loving the dances that were done, you know, very realistic. Like, I mean, I'm not Polynesian myself. I wish I was now after seeing one. I think we all did when we left the theater. But, like, you know, like, it was like they were doing the haka and whatnot. Like, I felt like I was watching the New Zealand All Blacks, you know, like on the rugby team, like, doing their thing. Like, it was cool. Now, the moving tattoos were great. Like, what did you think of the moving tattoos?
Oh yeah, Eric Goldberg,
amazing job.
Done.
Amazing.
Like, oh yeah, to me, like when I saw the sidekick, the 2D sidekick, like,
oh yeah,
it totally reminded me, like, the way he acted, like, where he was Maui's kind of, like, you know, he was his conscience, where he kept, like, kind of nudging him and, like, you know, he kind of showed the softer side of Maui. But I also got this feeling that he was just like the Lizzie McGuire character, like the 2D one, where, you know, it acts just like he does, except it's like it's his inner thoughts or whatever. I was like, that's totally like somebody was watching Lizzie McGuire when they decided to have Maui's mini sidekick, when they had mini Maui.
Very true, very true. And, like, I mean, I think the big question is like I also read into that as being Maui's conscience, basically, you know, they're telling him, like, do the right thing, Maui, and Maui's like, shut up, you know. But actually, it's like, you know, is it actually, like, it would be even cooler if there was some other consciousness stuck there on Maui, like, stuck on Maui's body, that's his punishment, you know.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Like, and then, you know, that his whole fight for freedom could be, like, a whole separate movie.
Yeah, I really do like how Moana, like, you know, got to have a place in Maui's body, because now, even though, like, Maui, like, went off on new adventures of his own, like, Moana can kind of go with him, like, she can poke him around just like sidekick mini Maui does.
Exactly, you know, like, I mean, like, who knows who else is living on Maui's body? We haven't even seen, like, he's running out of space though. I don't know, like, can he, like, vacuum up the old ones that he doesn't like? Like, how is this gonna work? Like, is he gonna go into places where we don't want to see, we can't see? Like,
so true,
we don't know,
so
you know, soon, like. But yeah, like, I mean, overall, like, I mean, this was definitely one of Disney's best movies in years. It's not quite classic. There are a couple of things that I did not like about the movie. They're very little, they're small quibblings, but basically, like, it's not going to go in classic history for those things. Basically, the animators are not on point here. They are, I'm seeing a lot of the same expressions again and again. Yeah, lots of people roll their eyes, but people roll their eyes in different ways.
Man, there's so many. Like the one where Moana's like holding her hair, like,
oh,
you know,
yeah.
the same way Rapunzel.
And then Rapunzel's sexy side look, which they call her.
Yeah, she was giving some serious side eye.
Yeah, the side eye. Thank you. And lots of it. And you know, then the things I did like was like, I mean, when Moana basically like had her own expressions, like which auli'i Cravalho was like the voice of Moana. She did a good job where, you know, she was like ah, and she would be like it was like a less annoying version of Merida, but she would express anger. And I saw a couple of times where, you know, that like traditionally they just wouldn't show the female characters, you know, getting angry. Like with Elsa, it was annoying because like Elsa had all this power and she was like, oh no, please don't come near me. She was just afraid all the time. So, you know, and fine, that was her personality. But now here we're seeing somebody who's, you know, confident, and it was a good movie. Like it was a good adventure movie. Like I feel like it was as exhibited.
And I really ended up liking Moana's character. Like, you know, usually they always show how like they're not fitting in and they just want to be elsewhere, and like they're always like, I don't belong here, and they're always like, they always feel like they're being shoehorned into a position that they don't really want. But with Moana, it's not like that. Like, I like how Moana, like, she goes along. She wants to, you know, she wants to help lead her people, and she's like making a genuine effort at learning. It's for her, it's more like, you know, why can't I do both? Why can't I also like go surfing?
Yeah, you know? she mentioned she's the girl who loves her island, but she loves the sea too. And then in the end, she actually goes to the sea basically to help her island. So in that, she's like Mulan, where she's doing it for the good. You know, she's not going to be a badass.
She's not like, you know, with Merida, it felt like, you know, rebellious teen years. Like, she liked her archery, but that was about it. Like, you know, she didn't want to get married, which was fine. But, like, you know, you just kind of
got... She didn't get married even to the point where it was okay for when mother died. Like, everything was... Like, she was just too, like...
Exactly. Like, with Moana, you really felt like, you know, she felt responsible. Like, she's worried, like, about her people. Like, how are they gonna survive? What about the long-term viability of this island? Like, are they gonna have to become a spacefaring nation? Because seafaring is not cutting it, since the polar ice caps are melting and the sea levels are rising.
Absolutely. Like, you know, global warming's happening. I mean, check out the documentary, The Island President. I mean, you know, these Polynesian countries need our help. Like, so like watching Moana's one way to do it, apparently. So okay, anything else? Like Te Fiti, you know, the lava monster thing was cool. The twist at the end was cool. But I mean, I like how they show Moana's quite smart, kind of like Aladdin, where, you know, she's like basically, I know how to get through Teka. Like, I get through Teka how? Because, you know, like Teka has lava. Well, lava can't get through water, so I go through the water and boom, like Maui wasn't listening because Maui was like my magic hook. It does everything.
I mean, I do think like Te Fiti, like it was really cool how like the person was an island, like the island was shaped like a person. You can kind of see like how her laying down transforms into the island. Like that's really cool. But like at the same time, like I think, you know, like, Te Fiti should have talked a bit. Like, you know, she kind of reminded me of Rapunzel's parents, where, like, you know, she wanted to say something, but, like, the animators like, no, guys, like, you know, Te Fiti, like, she's only here to wake up and then, like, you know, show, like, look, cool, I'm a human. I'm an island-shaped human. Or a human-shaped island. And then she, like, wakes up and then she's like, well, guys, like, you know, I'm gonna go bust a nap, like, see you in 5 years or whenever.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with like, Te Fiti is that, you know, if she had, like, it's like you were saying before, Tycoon, where, like, you know, these, like, even if you look at the shorts, they used to actually have talk, people used to talk in the shorts. And so now we have all these secondary characters who they think it's more it has more gravity to the situation if they just don't say anything. That's not true. Like, imagine if she was like, Maui, what the fuck? Like, this is all your fault, you little shit. And then Moana will be like, no, please, Te Fiti, don't hurt Maui. And then Maui will be like, look, I'm sorry, Your Excellency. And she'll be like, okay, Maui.
Exactly. Like I'm not looking for a long, you know, like one, you know, like I'm not looking for a presidential speech. I'm just looking for even 1 word or 2 words, you know, a couple of words. Like, not much. I'm not asking for much.
Now, Moana saying that she would board her boat for the hunting billion times was annoying as hell.
Yeah, like, I feel like, honestly, like, there should be a drinking game where, like, you know, take a shot every time Moana says, you know, I am Moana, you know, you are Maui, wind of the Garden Sea. And like, okay, for the first 3 times it was nice because it was like, oh, her grandmother said it, she wants to remember, so that like it's the last thing she has left over. But then it's like, you know, after the 10th, 12th time, it kind of felt like the writers couldn't think of anything for her to say.
Yeah, and this is why this kind of goes into why Moana is not going to be 100% classic, but a really, really, really good movie, but not 100% classic. Because the whole "who am I" theme, I don't understand what the problem is. Because what does that have to do? Like, you are not actually who you like, what you like. You know, she likes the ocean. She like, it's a hobby. Like, you know, I am not only a surfer because I surf. I'm many things. So, you know, I'm Moana. Like, she knew that at the get. She wasn't like, I am a traveler. Like, she was like, I'm Moana. Like, we knew that. We
yeah, like I really enjoyed Moana, but I would place Moana like I would place Moana like tied with Zootopia, but it's not as good as Tangled. Yeah. Like, I also just found it one thing I remembered was that I also just found it like weird how like Maui, like, you know, he just came back, like he got angry and then, like, you know, he just had a change of heart, randomly came back. Like, I would have liked it better if they kind of showed Maui's side of things, where it's like, you know, why did he have a change of heart? What made him change his mind? Like, when he got pissed. Because Moana couldn't convince him to come back, so what convinced him?
Like, I mean, it would have been great if obviously Tamatoa had been there to like talk Maui and do it. Like, that would have been funny because Tamatoa maybe wanted Maui to die, so he's like, why don't you go back to bullshit, and then maybe something like that.
Like, even a heart-to-heart with his, you know, 2D tattoo mini sidekick would have been okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and then it was redundant when she was like, you came back, Maui, and then she was like half a beat later, she's like, thank you, Maui, like, you know, you came back. It's inherent in the tone of her voice that she's thanking him. But then it was funny because Maui said you're welcome, so we were like, okay.
But I did really like how, like, Moana, like, you know, learned how to sail. Like, you know, she wasn't like Rey, where she just knew how to do everything like Rey from Star Wars. Like, she learned, and it wasn't just that she, like, yes, she's a leader and she knew how to do all this stuff. Like, she knew how to, you know, like, solve the problems of her people. Like, she was creative. But at the same time, like, she, you know, she took the initiative. She told Maui, I want to learn. Like, I'm not just gonna sit back and, you know, let you take the reins. But at the same time, it's not like she knew everything, which makes a character boring.
Yeah, I mean, even in Star Wars, they show Anakin, who's like the most like powerful Jedi ever. They show him going through training too, and he's like, I know, and they're like, no, Anakin, you gotta do your training. Like, so,
yeah, same with
like,
Luke.
So sorry, Rey. Like, you know, look at Moana as an example. Like, Moana worked hard. And then there's stuff that she did know how to do because, you know, she learned it on the island or whatever. Like, you know, like her grandma Tala taught her the cool dance moves that she was doing.
True, and then it's cool because then she even shows her dad how to sail, because she's like, Dad, like, you know, please, like, don't let, like, you know, your best friend dying get in the way of your passion for sailing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Although I do think it was a bit extreme of her dad to, like, ban everyone, you know, from sailing just because he wasn't a strong swimmer, you know? Like, it's sad that he couldn't save his best friend, but, you know, guess what? Like, maybe, you know, maybe we have the next Michael Phelps among the tribe. Like, who knows?
I think basically, you know, her dad, like, being the leader and he's probably the most buff. So he's like, if I can't swim against the tides, who the hell can? You know, like I barely made it out alive and I'm the best that they've got. So, like, no, now no one is going out, ever. You know?
Yeah.
Plus, there's no need. Like, when they went into the ocean, what was there? More ocean. Like, there was nothing to see. So maybe he doesn't understand why Moana wants to go out there. This is not like the Little Mermaid, you know, where, like, there's all these, like, treasures or whatever. Like,
but, you know, he was being a little unreasonable when they were running out of fish and people are like, what the hell are we gonna do? It's like, he couldn't come up with a creative alternative. Like, they've run out of alternatives. So he should have been like, you know what, Moana? Like, I've been saving this moment for you. I wanted to use this as an absolute last resort. So, like, I'm bringing out the boats. I would have liked that. I would have liked it if he'd done that.
It's true. He probably does, but, like, I mean, I agree. I think that would have been reasonable.
I mean, I understand it's his baby. Like, he doesn't want to send his baby off to war.
Yeah, maybe he privately planned to send people secretly, like Moana, because he knew that then she's gonna get all up in that. She's gonna want to lead the expedition. She's gonna be like, I'm the chief, Dad. You you made me responsible. So, you know, he basically, like, lots of parents have to lie to their kids, you know, to get them to do what they want. So that's what Moana's dad was doing. He was protecting her.
I did like there was another parallel between, like, you know, there's one parallel between Moana and Mulan, where, like, you know how Mulan, like, you know, she doesn't tell her parents that she's going off to war, so she, like, you know, packs up and leaves in the middle of the night, and she doesn't tell her parents. But it's cool because, like, when Moana was packing up in the middle of the night to go off on the boat, like, her mom like caught her in the act, but it was nice because her mom was like supportive, so it was nice, you know, that they did something fresh.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She wasn't all alone, like
and,
she had
speaking
support.
of Moana and other older Disney movies, like lots of Pocahontas vibes, not because they're both tribes or natives, because that was completely different, but some of the lines were just taken directly, where he was like, "It suits you."
Oh man, totally,
any other way, completely. What was the other line? Where they're like, one was "It suits you," and then he was like, you know, "You're ready" or something. Like it was just, you could tell they'd been watching. There was been a marathon.
Oh man, major vibes of a lot of movies, like, you know, like the you know, being forbidden from doing something, you know, overprotective dad.
Taken. And you know, if as anyone who loves Disney knows, you know, you probably all know Glenn Keane, and Glenn Keane always says like, the problem with Disney is that you can't keep going back and looking at what Disney's done. Like, you got to look at fresh stuff. Otherwise, you have the same thing. And that's happening right now, where we see the same scene by frame. The scenes look the same. Many of them. There's many new scenes, obviously, and we love those. But, like, you know, the way Moana was holding her hair, whatever. There's, you know, there's other ways. There's other things you could do. We all have hair. We all move our hair. Like, there's other ways we can do this. Like, you know, like, I liked how Maui, even when he's being nice, the way his eyebrows are, he kind of looks mean. So then you wouldn't expect that he was actually helping people, you know, that he actually was trying to just help humans. Like, you would never suspect, because they painted him as this villain in the beginning. So that was a great idea. That was a great idea. Now, can we please talk about how Pua the pig, like, I don't even know why he was there. Like, he had one scene where he holds up the racket. Like
I think Pua is basically, like, Pua kind of lives vicariously through Moana, because Pua is very, like, he's a scaredy cat, but, like, you know, he's always encouraging her with the or. But then, you know, when he went out to sea with her the first time, he was like, you know what, I learned my lesson. He's kind of like Moana's dad, where he's like, yeah, it didn't work out. I think I'm gonna just stay on land.
Yeah, I'm surprised he and Moana are friends at all. After he saw her eating bacon, I mean, it should have been over right there and then.
I know, that could have been his brother, maybe even his mom, like, who knows?
Yeah, and you know, Moana feels bad about it, but you know, not bad enough to like think about the way she thinks about it, visiting the sea endlessly. Now, can we talk about the ocean being its own character? Because that was animated beautiful.
Oh, I love that. I actually loved how the ocean was its own character, because, you know, they never do that. They always have animals, like, you know, act like humans, but they never have like these, like, they never have parts of nature like be like human, you know, like, and they didn't make it that human where, you know, the ocean was talking to Moana like it was grandmother Willow, but it had a life of its own. Like, I mean, Maui even talks about how he's like, oh, like, you know, like the ocean, like, why doesn't the ocean just bring the sea hard by itself? And the ocean is like Moana's parents, where it's nice, it's protective, it helps her through, but it means Moana still has to do the work herself. The ocean's not gonna do everything for her. She's like, why are you doing this, ocean? She gets mad. I know, and I really liked how the ocean kind of like zapped, you know, Moana or whoever was thrown into the sea. And like, it just made sure that she landed straight on back onto the boat, because so many scenes would have drawn on if they just kept showing Moana or Maui swimming. Like, we don't want to see them doing the backstroke or the butterfly. We just want the plot to move along. Yeah, and the ocean basically helped out smooth transition. Now, one thing we really like is, like, you know, when Moana's wondering why the ocean chose her, I mean, it's cool because if you, at the very beginning of the movie, they show it when little Moana's like, you know, she's trying to, she wants a pretty shell, but then she's like, oh, turtle, you know, and she realized that, you know, the turtle's more important than the pretty shell. Yeah, so that was my favorite. That was a great scene. And so the ocean, like, basically said, well, you know, a person like that, that's who I want on this quest. You know, and then Grandma Tala, like, what I want to know is how Grandma Tala knew that the heart hadn't left the ocean for her, because usually she's standing at that spot dancing and almost the buff. So, like, why wasn't she given the chance? You know, how did she know this? That's a great question. It's a great question. So, wait, one of the most, like, annoying, like, useless characters, like, I'm not gonna lie, is Hei Hei. Yeah. Because, like, you know, Hei is the Olaf of this movie. Yeah, Olaf, you know, we hated him. Like, I think they even admitted it was the dumbest Disney character. So, like, I mean, you know, it was dumb to a fault where it's like, you know, it was so dumb that you almost felt like it wasn't real. Like, it was almost like a toy chicken where it was just so unnecessary. I think the movie would have been 100 times better if they'd left Hei Hei out. Like, he didn't really add, nor did he detract. He was just boring. Like, I didn't laugh. I was just like, oh, moron, and then I moved on. Like, I waited for the next thing to happen. Yeah, like, I was, even though I liked Pua better than Hei Hei, I'm glad that only one of them came on the mission, because, like, you know, you really don't need more than one. Then they become a liability. Now imagine if, like, they had, you know, done something new with the sidekick. Maybe Hei Hei had been this learned, scholarly chicken
who, you know, he knew all the myths and legends, but he couldn't communicate, you know, or...
That would be an excellent idea. And at the end, perhaps, you know, he carried a book with him.
Exactly. And, you know, he's always trying to kind of, he's too studious. Like, perhaps he needs some real world experience to jolt him out of his, you know, life of academia. You know, perhaps he wanted to be a scholar of the Polynesian legends. Perhaps it is he who leads Moana to the boats and then deciphers the ancient texts.
I know, I did like how, like, at one point, you know, Hei Hei gained sentience and actually was useful. Then, you know, that endeared me to him a bit. But
yeah, he barely, I mean, I think it was more of a mistake, you know, broken clock, you know, it's right twice a day, that kind of thing.
But I did love the coconuts, like the coconut warriors. I'm not sure, like, what their
the
names
Kakamora.
were. Yeah, the Kakamora, like, they were great. Like, you know, their scene was short, sweet, and snappy, you know?
It was some slapstick humor, and the cool thing was you could see why they, even though they were, like, adorable, you could see they were a force, because there were so many of them. Like, it was, like, basically, like, you know, being attacked by a hive of bees. Like, you can't get them off you, and they were just, like, hella annoying, and you can't, like, they're powerful as hell.
Exactly. It was, like, for them, it was, like, a strength in numbers kind of thing. Like, by themselves, like, you know, they were harmless with their cute little trank darts, and they kept hitting each other.
Like, we have all kinds of villains in this movie. You know, we have the cute, adorable, evil ones. We have, you know, the medium sly ones, and with the super evil, like lava flowing, super terrifying. So you know, there's a villain for everybody. One for the kids, one for the dads.
Yeah, there's plenty of variety. In fact, I would wager that, you know, there's actually more villains than good guys in this movie.
Absolutely,
you know?
Because if you think about it, even Maui at one point is a villain, so it's just Moana against the elements.
Exactly, and even Moana is at war with herself, so she, you know, could be seen as a villain, as her own worst enemy.
Very true. So, I mean, basically, it's like Disney meets Survivor is what Moana is, because Moana is an adventure story about Moana trying to survive in the elements, you know? Like, now it would be a documentary on Discovery Channel where Moana's, like, struggling to survive and, like, you know, all this cool stuff.
Yeah, like she, at one point, she told the ocean, she was like, people pee in you. Like,
yeah, I mean, that was hurtful. Like,
it was a low blow.
The ocean was trying to help. It led her straight to Maui, and there was Moana cussing it out. Because your grandma with that mouth, Moana. Like, I mean, that wasn't her finest moment.
Yeah, like, I think Tala, like, you know, Tala would not be happy. Like, she lives in that ocean. She pees in it too. So I guess, you know,
she's like, I like to dance with the water. So I mean, she's dancing with the water, and then like there's Moana, like, you know, like talking about, and then Maui peeing in the water too. The dart in the butt cheek that was below the belt, literally in this case, like on the other side of the belt.
Yeah, the ocean really had it in for Maui. Like, it definitely, and I think that the mini Maui also always took Moana's side. Like, you know, like when Maui was spiraling into the water when they went to visit Tamatoa, I don't think Moana won just because she jumped in. Because look, Maui jumped in head first. So, like, I mean, he jumped in first, so he should have won that round.
I agree. And Moana did, you know, I mean, there should be points for execution. Moana kind of landed with a splat, you know, like it wasn't like she did, you know, like a graceful ballet who landed on her feet, like
exactly. Like, Moana's awesome, but you know, I'm not gonna, like, I'm gonna give Maui credit where credit's due.
Yeah, like Maui's tattoo basically is biased against Moana. Maybe
totally.
just,
like,
yeah.
I think you could say Maui's tat maybe had a thing for Moana, not Maui itself. Like Maui himself.
Maui himself did not have any kind of, you know, thing. But like, you know, like, so what do you think of like the fact that Moana, they made her thick leg, they said they gave her a realistic body, which the cool thing was I didn't notice.
It's true, I didn't notice.
Which is great.
Either.
Like, it wasn't like, whoa, like you don't have to be bulbously obese to like have positive sometimes it's just enough to just, you know, just be normal.
I know, I actually really liked her hair. Like, I like how it was kind of, you know, it was kind of pinned at the front, even though you couldn't see the pins. Like,
yeah.
She didn't really have a parting, which I liked.
She so didn't. It's true, and it was interesting to me because there's sometimes when she was underwater and her hair was still a little bit wavy, and I was like, come on, I should have gotten straight then. But, you know, whatever.
It's true, and I think we didn't notice like that Moana was, you know, thicker or whatever, because Maui was so giant that like he actually made Moana look, you know, skinny.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. Like, plus, you know, Moana's like, you know, Moana's more into the strength. Like, you know, she's working her muscles.
Yeah,
like,
she did have stubby feet, but you know.
Yeah, everyone in the movie.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think Maui's feet actually reminded me of Ralph, like from Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh yeah, Ralph and Maui are very similar. See, now, even with Ralph, like, they also made Ralph, like, I mean, I don't know why. Like, I mean, we'll just discuss that in a separate video.
Yeah, we'll leave that for a separate video.
Alright.